Myself, Dr. Jyoti Gangurde, Assistant Professor of Zoology, here teaching College Nasik. Students, today we are going to discuss on the topic antenna and visual organs of insect. Now, in previous lecture, we already discussed regarding the mouthparts, head of insect. Now, today we are going to discuss on the antenna and visual organs, that is eye of insect. Now let us discuss first regarding the antenna, or what is the basic morphology or basic structure of antenna. Now here the insect head, right, which is characterized by possessing or having a single pair of antenna, right, means how many two antennas are there, means what we say is that the single pair of antennae they are present. The antennae of insects, they are homologous with the antennules of the crustaceans, right? So crustaceans, they have antennae and the antennae, but the difference is that antennules, they are larger in size, but if we can compare the homology, then they are similar to that of the antenna of insect, right? Because they are segmented structure, right? Now, the antennae are uniramous, segmented and mobile paired structures, right? Antennae are uniramous, okay? Again, they are segmented. Here in this diagram, you can see the segments of antenna, okay? So, depending on the type of antenna, the segment may vary, right? So, the antenna which is uniramous, which is segmented and which is a mobile paired structure. Which is mobile means what? The antennas, they move, that is mobile paired structure. Now they are basically fixed into the deep antennal sockets. Now such antennas, you can focus on this diagram. Such antennas, they fixed on into the deep antennal socket. Each antennal socket which is provided with the external antennal sclerite. Each antennal socket which is provided with the external antennal sclerite with the help of antennal suture and with the internal broad membrane, that is antacoria. Okay, now here you can see this is the basic structure of antenna, right? Here what it is? This is the scape, right? Scape, or this is the basal region of the antenna. Base or such an antenna which is such a antennal base which is fixed in the antennal socket. Okay, so here this is the base, and base which is provided with the type of muscles, right? So immediately the base, the first segment of the antenna, that is scape, okay, scape which is also provided with the muscles. Then here you can see the pedicel, and on pedicel onward the segments of flagellum, they come out. Okay, now this is the basic structure, like the hair of like our hair, right? Hair which is fixed in the hair socket, like that of the antenna which is fixed in the antennal socket, or the base of the antenna which is fixed in the antennal socket, from which, okay, base followed by the next segment, that is scape, the another segment, that is pedicel, and pedicel which is continuous with the elongated or numerous number of flagellar segments. Now here each antennal socket which is provided with the external antennal sclerite with the antennal suture and with the internal broad membrane, that is antacorium. Here you can see this is the broad membrane, right? Antennal socket which is provided with the broad membrane, or such a membrane which is nothing but the antacorial membrane. Now the structure, structurally the antenna which is typically composed of a basal scape, middle pedicel and the terminal flagellum. The scape and pedicel are single segmented divisions. The flagellum is multi-segmented long part of the antenna. So all the segments are alike, means what, they are not similar, or all the segments they are alike. Such a flagellum which is devoid of endoskeletal muscles and its processes. Now, the scape which is responsible for the articulation of the entire antenna in various directions. In insect, each antenna which is innervated by floor muscles, two extrinsic and two intrinsic muscles. Now here you can see extrinsic muscles or intrinsic muscles, or here extrinsic muscles which include levator and depressor muscle. Right, here you can see levator muscle or depressor muscle. Right, these muscles, okay, levator muscle or depressor muscle, these are nothing but what? Extrinsic muscles. And the intrinsic muscles which include, here you can see flexor muscle or extensor muscle, right? Flexor muscle or extensor. These muscles, okay, these two muscles, they are acting as the intrinsic muscles of the antenna. Now, these muscles, they serve the antenna to move in all direction. Means what? Such a muscles, they provide mechanical strength to rotate the antenna in any direction. Now, after that, there are different type of antennas are there according to the type of insect, or what we say is that in various group of insects, the antennas, they may vary. Now here the types of antennae. The first type, that is Setaceous antennae. So here you can focus on this diagram. Here different type of antennas are there, or not all the antennas they are similar. So here particular group of insect, they shows a presence of particular type of antenna, right? Why? Because their feeding mechanism is different, their behavioral changes, they are different, okay, or their habitat, they are also different. So depending on that mode, the antennas, they also get deeper, okay. So we can see all the type of antennas one by one. Now here the first type of antenna, which is Setaceous antenna. Okay, Setaceous antenna, here such a Setaceous antenna which is present in Odonata. So we can focus on the another type, that is filiform antenna. Here you can see the first, this is filiform antenna. So the filiform antenna, where the flagellum appears thread-like structure and which is made up of uniformly thin segments. And here the common example of the insect which includes the Blattidae. Blattidae, which is the family of cockroaches. Now, in cockroaches, I think you observe the antennas of cockroach. So, the antenna of cockroach, which is segmented, right? Which is segmented and which is long, right? So, the antenna which is slender, thread-like structure, which is numerous segmented, right? And common example, that is cockroach. Now the next type of antenna, which is monoliform antenna. Okay, here you can see this diagram also, monoliform antenna. So the flagellum of this antenna, which is composed of globus shaped segments, providing a beaded or necklace-like appearance to the entire antenna. Right, here you can see monoliform antenna. Here all the segments, they are in beaded form, like a necklace. So appearance looks like a necklace, or the segments, they are like the beaded form. Okay, and the common example of such a antenna, the insects such as termites. In termite, okay, such a kind of monoliform antenna, they are present. Now the next type, which is serrate antenna. Okay, so serrate antenna you can see here. So the name, that is serrate antenna, which is given here, the flagellum which consists of a triangular segment with eccentric arrangement. Here you can see the segments, they are triangular shape or arrangement that is eccentric, right? So and that is why the appearance which is look like a serrated margin, right? So that is why the name given, that is serrate antenna. Or here again the appearance which is also similar to that of teeth of the saw. right? The common example of such a type of antenna which is Buprestid beetle, right? So Buprestidae, which is the family, or Buprestid beetle, which is the common example of such a kind of serrated antenna. Then pectinate antenna. Here you can see pectinate antenna, right? This is a kind of pectinate antenna. Here the individual segment of the flagellum are extending only on one side of the long process, and therefore the antenna become comb-like structure. Okay. So here you can see all the segments they can arrange at one side, and therefore, right, the appearance which is look like a comb, or that is why the name given, that is pectinate antenna. Again the another kind, that is bipectinate antenna, which is also present, right? In that case the pectines they are present from both sides. Okay, here the common example of pectinate antenna is Coleoptera and moths. Now the next type, that is clavate antenna. Okay, here you can see the clavate antenna. So the clavate antenna, here the successive segment of the flagellum becomes gradually broad, giving rise an appearance of club-shaped form of antenna. Right? Clavate antenna, here you can see the number of segments are there, or at the apical or at the former region, anterior region of the antenna, which form a club-shaped structure. Okay, and that is why the name given, that is clavate antenna. And the clavate antennas, they are commonly found in butterflies. After that, the next type is lamellate antenna. Lamellate antenna, here the terminal segment of the flagellum modify into the leaf-like broad plates forming a foliate capitulum, right? So here you can see in this diagram the lamellate kind of antenna. Here the terminal segments of the flagellum, right? Here these are the posterior segments, and here the former segments. What we say is that the terminal segments of the flagellum, they get modified into the leaf-like broad plates, right? Leaf-like broad plates forming a capitulum or capitulum shaped. Okay, and there is that is why the name given, that is lamellate antenna. Here the common example is Coleoptera. Coleoptera, which includes beetles, and probably in beetles such a kind of antennas are present. Now the next type of antenna, which is plumose antenna. Now here the flagellum is composed of large number of cylindrical segments, and here you can see this plumose type of antenna. Now here the segments, they are provided with long hairs on either side, right? So here you can see each segment, okay, number of segments they are present, or each segment which is provided with tuft of hair, right, from both sides, or that this is the plumose antenna. Common example, that is male mosquito, where at each node a whorl of hair which is given off, this giving the antenna, that is plumes like appearance, right? So from each segment tuft of hair which come out, or the appearance, the entire appearance of the antenna which is like a plum. Okay, and that is why the name given plumose kind of antenna. Here the common example, again male mosquito. Now after that, the next type, that is aristate type of antenna. Here this is the arista. Okay, this is arista or aristate type of antenna. Here the flagellum is undivided, but the second segment is situated at a different angle of the first segment, right? The second segment which is arranged at different angle as compared to the first segment. And again the on that segment, right, on the second segment, on the first segment, the arista which get developed, right? So here you can see these are the two segments, right? First and second segment. Here on first segment, here you can see the aresta which get developed or the flagellum which get developed. Okay, and here the common example of arrested antenna which is houseflies and Drosophila. Now the last type of antenna which is geniculate antenna. Right? The geniculate antenna, they are such a kind of antennas. Here you can see geniculate kind of antenna are bent, right, completely from the scape pedicel joint. Right? Here you can see this is the geniculate type of antenna. Here you can see this is the scape, this is the pedicel, right? And these are the flagellar segments. Now here at the scape and pedicel region, the antenna which get bent. Okay, so the common example of geniculate antenna, that is honeybees. In honeybees, probably or mostly, or in honeybees, okay, such a kind of antenna are present. Okay, now this is what about the basic structure of antenna and different types of antenna. Now we can focus on the next, that is visual organs of insect. Now here the visual organs of insects, they are nothing but eyes, right? So eyes, they are either simple eyes, they are compound eyes, right? Or they are either in the form of stematas, lateral stematas are there, right? So here we can focus on the eye, right? So here the eye or true eye, they are found in almost all insects except few parasitic forms. Now there are two types of eyes, simple eye and compound eye. Now the simple eyes, they are a dorsal ocelli and the lateral stemata, whereas the compound eyes are the principal organs of vision of adult insects, right? So here we can focus all these three eyes, that is dorsal ocelli, stemata and compound eye one by one. Now here the dorsal eye, okay, or what we say is that the ocelli, the dorsal ocelli. Now here dorsal ocelli are found commonly in limbs and almost in all adult insects. Now the insect bears three ocelli, right? Insects, they bears three ocelli, one median and two lateral, right? So the median ocelli, which is formed due to the fusion of paired ocelli, or in some cases the dorsal ocelli, they are completely degenerated. Means what? Again, depending on the number of insect group, the ocelli, right? Ocelli, they are three in number, one which is at the middle and two at the lateral side, right? So in some insects, such three eyes they are present. In some insects, such eyes they get fused, or in some insects, such eyes or such ocelli they get degenerate. Now the ocellus which bears a single lens. Okay, structurally such a ocellus which bears a single lens, and in most of the insect it is cuticular in origin. Now beneath the lens, which is present the epidermis, okay, which is composed of a transparent colorless small cell, or which is called as a corneagen cell. Beneath the corneagen cells are arranged the nerve cells called as the sense or retinula cells forming the retina. Now some of the retinula cells may extend from corona to the base of ocellus. Here this structure, okay, which is from the dorsal ocelli or single eye of insect. Okay, why? Because they are very minute in size as compared to the compound eyes. Now here such ocelli, they are simple light sensitive or organs such activating immediately the central neuron or nervous system, which plays a key role in maintaining the diurnal rhythm. Diurnal rhythm, that is the day activity, or what we say is that the diurnal rhythm. Now, they are well adapted for quick perception of light, changing its intensity, right? The main function of dorsal ocelli, that is, they are acting as a, or they maintaining the diurnal rhythm, as well as, okay, they are adapted for quick perception of light changing intensity, right? So this is what about the dorsal ocelli. Okay, such ocelli, they are present in nymphs as well as in adult insects, right? Now the second type of visual organ is the stigmata. Now here the stigmata, or each stigmata, which is formed from a small group of photoreceptive structures resembling the ommatidia of the compound eye. Now each structural unit of stigmata, which consists of an external endocuticular cornea, then crystalline lens, then a group of 7 retinular cells or some corneal cells. Okay, you can observe in this diagram. This is the diagram of stigmata. Before that, this is the diagram of ommatidia, right? So, such as stigmatas, they can differentiate the shapes and colors of the object, right? So, the main function of stigmata, which is the stigmata can differentiate the shapes and colors of the object, right? Then the next type of the visual organ is the compound eye, right? So compound eye, which is the main visual organ in majority of insect or in almost all insects, right? So here you can see this is compound eye. Okay, so here you can see these are all are the ocelli, and ocelli they form. Compound eyes are the chief visual organs of majority of insects. The compound eyes are composed of large number of alike structural units called as a ommatidia. Okay, these are what number of ommatidia are present. Now from the facets, now here you can see these are what the facets, right? So from the facets, therefore total number of the ommatidia of a compound eye can be estimated, and they are arranged in hexagonal form, right? Here you can see single, what we say is that the ommatidia, this is the single structure of ommatidia, and now such a ommatidia collectively, okay, they form the compound eye, and here you can see these are the hexagonal facets, and from the hexagonal facets, right, we can count the total number of ommatidia of compound eye. Now, in almost all insects, such as ommatidias, they are hexagonal in form, but in few insects, okay, such as ommatidia, they may either circular in shape. Now, generally all the facets, right, these facets, generally all the facets form a single spherical eye bulging out on the parietal region of head. Now, the facet size, which is mostly proportional to the square root of the height of eye, right? So the size of facet situated at the center, okay, the size of the facet, they may situate at the center, which may differ as compared to the facets they are at the periphery, right? So here you can see this is the single structure of ommatidia, on how the compound eye it works, right? So if we can take a single segment, a single facet starting from this region anterior to the posterior, it is a single ommatidium, right? So what is the ommatidium? Now here each ommatidium, oh, this is the single ommatidium, or what we say is that each ommatidium, okay, which is differ in its size and secondary modification in different species of insect, and which consist of again dioptic or optic apparatus, which receiving the light, and again which is sensory in function, then which contains a retina forming the image, right? Here such a optic appearance or optic apparatus. Okay, such a ommatidia which contains what? Two apparatus, that is the dioptic or optic apparatus, right? Here, such a apparatus, they receives the light and they are sensory in function, right? Now the optical apparatus, which is composed of a circular lens and cone, right? So here you can see, right, optic apparatus which includes what? Circular cone, or what we say is that the lens. Then a sensory part which consists of elongated specialized nerve cells called as a retinula cells, right? So such a retinula cell or retina which is separated by the bottom of basement membrane through which the axon arising from the retinula cell and pass into the optic lobes. Okay, now here very simple it is. You can remember that this is the optic apparatus which contains what? Lens and cone, and remaining it is the what we say is that the dioptic or sensory apparatus, okay, which contains nerves, or such a nerves they get sensation to the optic apparatus. Okay, now structurally, okay, this is the detailed structure of ommatidia or arrangement of ommatidia. Now here, if we can take transverse section through an eye of insect, okay, then we can visualize the detailed structure of eye. Okay, so here this is a layer of lens, or what we say is that the lenses are there. Why? Because number of ommatidias are there, and ommatidias, okay, they shows the presence of lenses. Then followed by, here you can see this is the layer of crystalline cone, right, or what we say is that the optic apparatus, right. Then here you can see again they contains what? The primary pigment cells. Then here the retinula cells. Retinula cells, they are acting as a sensory apparatus. They give sensation to the optic apparatus, right. So, and here you can see the rhabdom or secondary pigmented cell, or collectively they unite at a point to form unite at a point, or such a axons they unite at a form, okay, to form a uniform structure, right. So this is the transverse section of the insect eye. Now here structurally, the ommatidia which consists of cornea, a corneagen layer, the cone or Semper cells. Now the primary and secondary iris cells and the retinal cells. Now here we can see all the cells, all the layers one by one. Now the first layer, that is the cornea. Now cornea, it is the outermost part of the ommatidia, and such a cornea which is transparent, colorless and biconcave modified cuticular area, which is often termed as a facets or lenses. So here you can see the first layer, which is nothing but what? The cornea, or cornea, which is also called as a lens, followed by a second layer, that is corneagen cells. Now there are epidermal or hypodermal cells lying behind the cornea. Here a group of two corneagen cells secrete a single lens. So the lens which is formed by the secretion of corneagen cells. So after formation of lens, they withdrawn periphery and get modified into primary iris cell. You can focus on the diagram also. Now the third layer, that is cone or Semper cell. Here beneath the corneagen layer or the cornea, there are four distinct cells. They secrete a crystalline or liquid cone. Here the cone cells, they may simple or they occurs as a transparent cells without secreting any kind of cone or remain unmodified. Now the another layer, that is retinula cells. Here you can see retinula cells, right. So here the retinula cells are, or retinula, Here the crystalline cone which is followed by a long retina which is forming the basal part of an ommatidium. Right? Now it is formed from a group of alike 7 retinular cells. So retinular cells, how they form? Here the crystalline cone which is followed by a long retina forming the basal part of an ommatidium. And it is such a basal part which is formed from a group of alike 7 retinular cells. Each retinular cell posteriorly terminates above the basement membrane. Right? Now the inner margin of the retinular cells lying around the ommatidial axis and which is highly differentiated from the rest of the body cell, and it is called as a rhabdomer. Okay, rhabdomer in this diagram. Okay, you can also see the rhabdomer right here. This is the rhabdom, right? Here you can see these are the receptor cells, right? This is what the cornea. Here crystalline cone is there which collectively form the lens. Here you can see the retinular cells or pigment forming cells are there. Okay, here you can see this is the rhabdom, or these are what the receptor cell. They here from this, okay, what we say is that the ending of nerves or axons are there, right? So from which the sensation which gives by the receptor cells and pass towards the optic apparatus. Okay, now this is what, okay, this is what the visual organs in case of insect. Okay, the visual organs, they include first the dorsal ocelli, then lateral stigmata, or the main visual organs, that is come from eyes. Okay, now in next lecture we'll discuss regarding the morphology of thorax of insect.